G'day, this is Subaru's Great Australian Detour. Maddie Russell, welcome back. This is your home state, Victoria.
Oh, it is good to be back, Andrew, I'll tell you that much. And also your hometown on the Mornington Peninsula.
Yeah, Mount Eliza. So that's where I grew up. I might take you to meet my old home, Narelle. That was the name of it. But there's so much to do here.
There is, and it's an absolute day for it. So let's get stuck into it, shall we?
Yeah, I think it's very good advice.
All right.
That romance of the open road is like a lure tempting all of us, a calling almost, a chance to discover those things you expect to find and to be brilliantly surprised along the way. The road trip, whether it be near or far, is where we create some of our fondest memories. Sometimes it's about the destination, but maybe, just maybe, it's as much about how we get there, the cars we drive, the people we travel with, the friends and the moments we collect along the way. Subaru's Great Australian Detour is a celebration of the driving holiday, an unfinished roadmap of inspiration. It's about the detours we take to find the gems that sustain us to our next adventures. It's about Australia, the greatest detour there is. On this Great Australian Detour, the Mornington Peninsula, a pretty sneaky hour or so detour from the city, it's a special kind of paradise because it's got everything. Maddie's on the hunt for the key to her heart, hoping to fill the 2024 Subaru Impreza 2.0S with chocolate and produce. And I'm taking the 2024 Crosstrek 2.0S for a spin through time. From gondolas to bathing boxes, it's the best of Victoria.
The Mornington Peninsula. It's like the ideal buffet for tourists and locals. Bask in the bay, surf the coast, and don't even get me started on all the local produce. Is this the detour of my dreams? To get around, the Impreza really feels like the ideal car for so many people, but especially the young adventurers, like me. It's a small car, but it is big on style, and it's packed with so many features and has all the latest safety tech. It's equipped with the updated eyesight and vision assist systems, which not only enhances safety, but also aids on those longer trips, recognising speed signs, assisting in maintaining lanes, and even monitoring for driver fatigue, ensuring you reach your destination with confidence. Oh, we're here already. It's hard to please everyone, and there aren't many places that get close, but an hour's detour south of Melbourne CBD, and I reckon this might be the trick. Well, I had roosters to welcome me in here, but now that I'm seeing the trams, I'm getting a feeling that Benton Rise isn't going to be a typical farm. Even from the front gate, things are definitely different. And yep, that's an original red rattler. But that's just the start of it. It's not officially a train spotter paradise, but if you've got a thing for trains and trams and fresh produce and Melbourne history, this will be the spot for you. Brit's a Benton Rise all-rounder. Picking, growing, serving, you name it, she's great at it. And really is the heart and soul of the place.
It's such a unique place.
It is.
There's so much to see. There's a beautiful garden, organic produce, and our iconic trains, of course.
I know, and so how did they get here, or are we just not asking questions?
Oh, I was say 20-ish years ago, so a long time. But the one behind us, the Red Rattler, is from the 1920s, so very iconic.
So this is a community garden, and all the produce is in the Red Rattler, is that correct?
Yes, yes. So about 90% or more of it is grown here on the peninsula in this beautiful pocket of the world.
Oh.
And then depending on the season, 20% of it is grown here on the farm.
That's amazing. What's in season?
Well, we just planted some garlic in the garden, so that'll be delicious.
Yep.
And then our citrus is just about to finish. So my favourite is the lemonade lemons.
Oh, so you make a lemonade with the citrus as well?
Yes.
Can we try that at some point today, please?
Yes.
I love lemonade when it's freshly squeezed.
So
oh, there's
good.
nothing better.
So good.
Oh, okay, well, Melbourne is showing all 4 seasons in one day. Very typical.
Classic.
Shall we quickly go see the animals?
Yes, let's do it.
So it is a farm, in the very old-fashioned sense. Goats, sheep, chickens, and a community heart. This is farm to plate at its very best. How do you say please? Slowly. Form a line. You'll all get one. More of Subaru's Great Australian Detour after the break.
It's impossible to capture one image or moment that says Mornington Peninsula, but these might go close.
Yes, the famous bathing boxes, all the way from Mount Eliza to Portsea. Over 1,000 of them, and they've been here since the 1800s, the late 1800s, and they were for the ladies when they were changing from their clothes into their neck to knees to protect their modesty, and they've been here ever since, and they're pretty amazing. No power, no bathrooms, no kitchens, no sleeping overnight. They're just for daytime use. Generally passed down from family to family. Occasionally they sell. This is for sale right now. What do you reckon? $295,000. There's one up there, $650,000. That was 2021. 30 k's down the road in Blair Gowrie, $900,000 for a wooden box with no dunny. What?
I get it though, I think.
I know what you're thinking. They're so expensive. I mean, you could have a pop-up tent and bring it down and take it to any beach, use it. We could have one of these where you sand it back and fill it with putty and paint it again every year. And I mean, that'd be amazing. For a pop-up tent, anywhere, 50 bucks.
It all feels like a lifestyle, but then that's the Mornington Peninsula. Town to rural to surf within an hour from the city. It is one gorgeous detour.
I don't think the Mornington Peninsula is famous for its drives as such, but there are some beauties. The whole Bayside Drive, I think all the way from, she's almost Port Melbourne to Portsea, you can have the bay on your side. There's Roella Drive, the back of Mount Eliza, and there's this one on the way up to Arthur's Seat, and this is fun. Very, very windy. It does make me think that both hands on the wheel all the time, which also makes me think I'm really happy to have that wireless connectivity, whether it be Apple CarPlay or the Android system. I can stay in touch with my mates. I've got the big screen, 11.6 inches, got a beautiful sound system, 10 Harman Kardon speakers for music or a podcast. Listen to Subaru's Great Australian Detour kids cast on it. That's pretty good. And then you've got wireless charging for your phone as well. Just chuck it down there in the middle and gear it up while you're concentrating on the road. It's good. It's really good.
It's as if you're working towards a reward, which of course you are.
Arthur's Seat is the highest point of the Mornington Peninsula. It's the only lookout I've ever been to and thought, they should really chop those trees down. Now, for the first people, the Boonwurrung, it's called Wonga. It got its name in 1798 when a ship came in and John Murray looked at it and said, boy, that looks like Arthur's Seat in Edinburgh. So if you're from there and you come here and you get a sense of deja vu, that would be the reason. You can walk up, takes an hour. There's a mountain bike trail. Actually, they come up on the gondola and then ride the bikes down. And obviously you can drive, which we just did. And what a fun drive. And the lookouts there show you everything from all the way to Portsea to town, which is up there. So yeah, great spot.
Don't believe me, believe John. He's been here for over 30 years and his passion is contagious.
How would you describe Arthur's Seat and the Mount Martha in this area?
Okay, so for me, Arthur's Seat is probably the jewel in the crown of the Mornington Peninsula.
Really?
It's a beautiful place to be. It's the highest point in the peninsula, and so from here you've got a vantage point, you can see everything.
I mean, and it's literally everything, isn't it? As far as Portsea, and you've got town,
exactly.
Like you can just see town through the...
Today it's a bit smudgy out there.
Yeah,
it's just the right distance away for me.
Yeah, you used to work there, right?
I used to work there for a long time, and now I work here and I'm much happier.
Okay.
Living in Mount Martha, which to me is God's own place. It's a shorter drive and it's a much more pleasant place to be.
And the drive here, even from Mount Martha, there's something quite special about it, isn't there?
There is. I could come on the freeway if I wanted to, but in the mornings I come around the Esplanade.
Yeah.
So it's much nicer to see the water.
Yeah.
Coming around from the head at Mount Martha over there towards Safety Beach, there are days when you look out and you think you're on the Côte d'Azur. It's a lovely aqua blue with the dark blue, the white sand.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful.
No better place.
And I love that you've drunk all the Kool-Aid.
Arthur's Seat Eagle is a cruisy detour to the top of the Mornington Peninsula. And on a day like today, offers views across the bay from the city to Portsea and everything in between. It is literally perfect.
It is a great way to get a perspective on the jewel, as John said, the jewel of the Mornington Peninsula. And I did do this as a kid in a chairlift, right? And so it was just 2 seats and just one little metal bar to hold you in, but it didn't lock, it just went across. So you got the freeway there, that's the new way to get up to town, or the beach road, the Spirit of Tasmania, the ferry going across to Geelong. It's just, oh, it's beautiful. We're gonna have more from the Mornington Peninsula after this. Welcome back. This is Subaru's Great Australian Detour, and I've got a bit of a personal detour. See, I think it's a good idea to, you know, go back to where you grew up and see things again, but maybe see them for the first time as well. And this is Mornington, at the head of the Mornington Peninsula. And I just realised at this moment that this is what it's all named after, the Mornington Peninsula. And I grew up down there about 3 k's, southern end of Mount Eliza, from the age of, I reckon, 2 to 13. And Dad would bring us fishing here. So in all that, like twice, and we never caught a single thing, but it's good to be here and to see it. It's growing. I know things have changed, so it'll be interesting to see it. Nice detour, this one.
Where to begin? Well, it's the roads first, isn't it? The landmarks, the houses where the paddocks used to be, the footy ovals where you were destined for something other than how it actually turned out.
So much goes on in your head and your heart when you revisit where you grew up. Like, we rode our bikes to school along this road with ice cream buckets on our head during the magpie swooping season. Oh, wow. Here it is. Glendon Close. They've paved it. It's paved. It was always a dirt road. Oh, no. Still a dirt road. It's not the start of it. Must be the fancy end of it.
Still the potholes, still the dust, still the same house, with the same brass letters. It's all just 40 or so years older.
It's amazing the memories that instantly spring back, the mowing memories, the mum doing the weeding and leaving piles for us to clean up before we could go riding our bikes. I spoke to the owner, Tim, and he said he found our names in the cupboard as we were growing up. Like, we left here in 1978. The weirdest memory is, well, Narelle, but this brick wall, and this was at the height of our Evel Knievel powers, and the idea was you had to ride your bike along the brick wall, and Cam got to the corner and realised that was the furthest. He couldn't go any further. That was a disaster. I mean, it's just disaster and joy and bikes and, oh, I could spend a bit of time here.
It was a pretty special time to grow up in a pretty special spot. In fact, the whole area is still quite fantastic. Bikes were our ticket to freedom, and the beach, well, that was the go, and still is.
So Mark, we spent a lot of time on bikes and a lot of time in water, but we never ever put the two together. How'd you do it?
Well, we were watching The Bachelor one day, as you do, good quality TV, and we saw these and thought, why not?
Well, you saw these things on The Bachelor?
Saw these on The Bachelor, yeah, so they're doing
days.
one of those date days and jumped on these. My wife, who's quite determined, decided to ring the distributors the next day, and before I knew it, we had 6 of them and starting up a business.
Okay, and that was during COVID?
That was during COVID,
So is that an exercise thing that people could actually do
safely?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we live on the peninsula.
Yeah.
Half of our 5K radius at that time was the water. Spoke to the government, gave us the green light, and off we went.
What a great idea. It's a great COVID story.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so what are we going to see? Like,
yeah,
so it's the bay, so...
Yeah, we'll head down along the coastline here towards Sunnyside. Marine life.
Sunnyside.
Yeah. So
Memories,
brings back some memories. So we might see a couple of the local stingrays here, a couple of large ones, blackjack and Hoover.
Yeah.
We often get a pot of dolphins that will come in with the fishing boats at the end of their tours.
Okay.
And there is a lone seal that lives down there off one of the points that might pop his head up and say g'day as well. So,
so
we never know.
See, and a lot to talk about.
Lots to talk about,
like a history lesson.
Almost, yeah.
I could bore you,
to your old childhood.
Let me bore you, Richard. All right, come on then.
There's a new age paddle boating feel to this, and funnily enough, the bay feels a lot like a lake.
Does this happen very often? No damage?
It's a lot more fun than I expected, and the bay is literally at its very best. The water's warm and clear, the fishing's apparently good, and seeing Mornington from the water for the very first time is quite breathtaking. It'd be pretty easy to lose yourself.
So a bit of a daydream. I better try and find my mate Mark and land. So you have a rest. After this, more of Subaru's Great Australian Detour. Hopefully. Mark!
Now, when I said this trip is for everyone, I did mean it's for everyone, but especially me. Now, it didn't take much to find the key to my heart down here, and it's Surfside of the Peninsula. This drive is gorgeous, right along the coast. And how's that for a golf course? That's Flinders Golf Club, perched on the edge of Bass Strait. And you wouldn't believe it's over 100 years old. Not my scene, but it's going to be pretty hard to keep Andrew away from that one. Whatever I was saying about the key to my heart, I was thinking about this. Chocolate, the most important meal of the day and my love language. I love the chocolate makers, Leanne and Ian, the happy chocolatiers, and Alan. Oh, my favourite Alan in the whole world, the key to my heart, my Alan key. So, Alan, that's French for Jean-Pierre Chocolat?
Do you not think I'm French? Do you want to see my passport, maybe?
But no, of course I believe you. You look the part. Tell me, how did you get into making chocolate and becoming a chocolatier in Mornington?
Yes, it all started in France as a very young kid. My best friend's dad was a chef, and then, you know, I was like, I want to become you. And then he said, just try pastry, try chocolate, and then I fell in love with it. I've, you know, learned from the age of 15, and then at 19, I was like, let's go travel. And yeah, took a plane, yeah.
I mean, look, it's every kid's dream to be in a place like this, working here. I'm keen to sort of just find out the process of how it's all made from start to finish, how we get these work of arts. So do you want to maybe show me a little bit more back behind there?
Of course, but first, you need to get into a uniform. Are you ready?
I'm ready as all. Yeah, of course. I'm Madeline now.
Right,
let's go.
Let's go.
It's chocolate of all sorts for everyone here. Almost a case of if you can think it, you can make it.
Well, you look very fabulous and French, don't you?
I know. Well, Madeline, I'm more French than you at this point.
I know.
Now, what have we here? Rocky Road, a quintessential Australian dessert.
That's right. Top of the top, right?
Exactly. We didn't even know it existed until you came here.
No, I had no idea. I landed here and they were like, oh, put some chocolate and nuts and lollies and off we go. And like, you know, thousands of them every day. So there you go.
Well, we're going to make it today. So talk me through. What's the process? Let's get straight into it.
Okay, so Rocky Road, very simple, right? We've got some chocolate, we've got some marshmallow, we've got some nuts, we've got some lollies, and realistically, you can do whatever you want, right? Okay, so the first thing is, I'm gonna pour the chocolate.
Okay.
And then you can add whatever you want. Okay, that looks beautiful. Happy with that?
Yeah, stoked.
Beautiful, all right. How about I'm gonna teach you how to make some truffles next.
Okay, sounds good to me. 3 fairly complex days of creation. Shelling, filling, tempering, more than you'd imagine, for 3 whole seconds of Cheers.
All right, santé.
Oh,
right.
You cannot get that in France, I'll tell you that much.
No.
So, how do you top Alan's 3-day strawberry truffle? It's difficult, but a spa might just do the trick. No visit to the Mornington Peninsula is complete without a trip and dip to the Alba Thermal Springs and Spa. A 20-minute detour towards Portsea, you'll find a special kind of paradise, where you can indulge in the peaceful surrounds of the contemporary indoor, open air and outdoor thermal pools. From geothermal springs to herbal-infused botanical pools, your wellness experience awaits. You know, after all that chocolate making and now all of this relaxing, I think I just need to stay here a little longer. So I might just do that.
One of the genuine challenges of the Mornington Peninsula will be fitting everything in. It's not far between detours, and it's easy to lose yourself as you venture from bayside to surfside. You'll be sidetracked and dirt-tracked, and probably get to the end of the day and wonder what you did, which was a lot. And maybe a lot of nothing, but surely that's everything. That's the whole point of the detour, turning nothing into something.
I reckon this is iconic Mornington Peninsula, but it's more than that, because this is the tourism shop for Victoria, right? So it's iconic Victoria, but you only find it on the Mornington Peninsula and only on the bay side. Across the land into the hobby farms and further. And
oh, I know, you've got all the surf and the wilderness and the wild of the other side, but then you've got the bay over here and you've got the sunrise and the sunset. You can really have it all down here, can't you? And it's just, it's so beautiful, and no matter what season, I guess, as well, whether it's summer or winter.
Yeah, the winter is compelling for the fires and staying inside, and the summer, well, it's glorious. So why don't you leave us here while we think about Subaru's next great Australian detour. It'll be different, that's guaranteed.
Yeah, where to is the question though, isn't it?